What's up, guys? Welcome to the second episode of The Drum Break, where we're talking about everything in, on, and about the percussion world. So, yeah, what are we doing today?
Today we're thinking about going more in depth into both of our sort of percussion loves, that being the world of drum corps and marching band and marching percussion. So yeah, without further ado, I wanted to, before we get into
the whole thing,
the whole shebang.
Yeah, so you can find us pretty much everywhere now. The only thing that we don't have is a Spotify. So on our Instagram and also our Facebook page, we have a link tree, and there you'll be able to find stuff from I'm forgetting here.
Apple
Podcast, Spotify. We're also on an app called Podbean.
Yep, yeah.
Which you can download on your iPhone. I'm not sure about Samsung or anything, but I think you can as well.
I think it's on like the Google Play store and other things. So yeah.
So yeah, we have that link, and if you find us on Facebook, we're at that page, so give the page a like and a follow, and we'll keep you updated on what's going on, when we're posting. Same with our Instagram. Mm-hmm. We're gonna try to keep up with that. We haven't done any like pre-episode things like we're filming up or like ready to go. Like no, we haven't done any of that yet. But we'll just mostly for post alerts. Mm-hmm. Letting you know when you can come watch or listen to us. We're also now up on YouTube, and that's running. The first episode is not going to have video, unfortunately. Our video got corrupted. Technology.
Sad, yeah.
But our second episode, this episode, there will be a video aspect to it. So it's just, it'll be a fun time.
If you want to watch or listen, however you consume this podcast, it'd be great to have you.
And wherever you're at too, like if you have the option to comment on the podcast or shoot us a like, or if you don't want to do it on either of those things, DM us personally, send us a message, text, whatever, like, hey, we're still open to some feedback and criticism, because it's something that we care about. So But so do you want to start us off?
I'm gonna get a bit nerdy on you guys and give a little history lesson.
Nerd alert.
If anyone, I'm in no way an expert on this, so if anything I say is wrong, or if there are any marching band or drum corps historians in the audience, please feel free to correct me. Yes. But basically, going back to around like the 17 and 1800s was when military bands became very popular. You had like, especially during like the Civil War, you would have brass bands with a percussion section marching out with the troops and stuff, and they had special instruments to where the bells were facing behind them, so that
I did not know that.
Yeah, so that the army could hear, their instead of them playing forward.
That must have been weird. I gotta search that.
Well, because they had to march in front of them to lead them, but if the army still wanted to hear the songs,
Interesting.
So that military band thing happened for a while, and like during that time, it wasn't uncommon for like every small town to have like a little brass band.
Yeah.
And as a result of that, other sort of organizations started seeing like, hey, having this sort of, mobile band is cool. And so different, Boy Scout troops and like police stations, fire stations started developing their own own brass bands and marching bands. So going into more like the 1900s and sort of post World War II, a few of these police and Boy Scout bands, especially in the Midwest, started to come together and say, hey, what if we could make this more than it is right now? What if we could like come together and perform together in big events and start competing.
In front of multiple thousands of people.
And that was essentially the birth of drum corps as we know it now. There were some 6 or so founding members of what was the first inkling of drum corps. Yeah. Among them being...
Do you have some?
Like the Cavaliers, Madison Scouts, Santa Clara Vanguard, Troopers, a few others that aren't around anymore. But because of... And those groups over here in the Midwest and California started to become very successful. And then people, on the other coasts and around the nation were like, hey, this thing is sort of cool. Maybe we could start stuff. And you had different little pockets of drum corps popping up in different areas until eventually it all came together to form what we know as Drum Corps International. And, it's still evolving.
Yeah, it really is.
Until today. So that's... Yeah. Little history lesson.
Yeah. So going off of that just a bit, just keeping it with the history. So the Cavaliers was one of the founding members. Their name at least. The guy who was who founded the Corps or whatever, he literally, I think just a couple years ago, right? Just
last year, 2 years ago. Something like
just
that.
Passed away from the Cavaliers, and they're a band in Rosemont, so they're Chicago home,
close to our hearts.
Close to our hearts. It's something that I really wish that I got a chance to meet him, because I've heard a lot of stories and saying that he was a really nice person, but I got to meet one of his buddies when we were using the buses or whatever. I think somebody drove one of our buses or something, or I can't remember. But yeah, so it's cool. It's a cool thing, that, and a lot of the corps that started too are still around. Yeah. Oh yeah. That's what 100 years.
Over 100 years old. Some of them.
Yeah, of corps. Yeah. And that like the Boy Scouts, like Madison Scouts. That's do you know what pack that was, or a troop or whatever?
Oh, I don't remember. Yeah, but
it's just crazy though. I didn't realize, because I did Boy Scouts as a kid, and to me, that's kind of cool. Yeah. I loved Boy Scouts, but it just to think of it being so close, drum corps being so close into something that has really nothing to do with drum corps. Yeah. These days, if someone was oh yeah, Madison Scouts and Troop 156, I'd be like,
what do you mean?
What does a band have anything to do with Boy Scouts? That makes no sense. But it's so into our intertwined into the culture of multiple things that you don't really notice until you actually do a little research. But yeah, thanks for the history lesson. That was cool. Problem. Some stuff I didn't know, especially with the military stuff. And now we're gonna dive a little bit deeper. Instead of just history, we're gonna talk about age range. We're gonna go a little bit on that, different kinds of classes. A little bit more on what each individual corps is. We don't know them all because there's hundreds,
a lot.
Yeah, it's something that we can't talk about everyone, because we'd literally be here for 3 hours. Yeah, and I don't have that long of an attention span to talk about drum corps for 3 hours. My butt would go numb. Yeah. But yeah, so drum corps. Right. So, multiple marching bands across the country. Even I think some people have special performances from people in Japan or whatever. Yeah. But speaking of the whole Japan area, this thing is such an awesome thing to do that people who have never been to America ever will come overseas and do drum corps.
It's becoming a very international thing. I know it's called, Drum Corps International, but they're trying to be more true to that name.
Yeah.
More recently, and a lot around the world, people are nerding out over drum corps, just like us.
So, for the audition process, I have done, I think, two. I've done two drum corps auditions, and then one like two of them were live in-person auditions, and then the other one was a video audition that I didn't end up submitting because I psyched myself out and got into my head, and I was like, they're never going to want me anyways, and I never sent it, which was a mistake because I probably could have made it. But so the audition process is when would you say you start to get music? Like the audition books, November?
Yeah, they usually let you or open up access to register for auditions and packets somewhere like around maybe early to mid fall. And then auditions usually happen, November, December, January.
And it sounds like a lot of time, like 4 months or like 3 months or whatever it is. But like you get this packet that you've never seen before, packet of music that you've never seen before, never even probably played some of it, like played certain rudiments or whatever. But so you get this packet in like, let's say November, and then you practice until January, February to then, and that practice is like, it consumes your life.
Oh yeah.
Like when we were auditioning, like I remember like it was every day or every other day it was like, okay, well we need to practice, like can you come over, or like hey,
multiple hours,
multiple hours a day, and
that's just the audition process.
That's not even auditioning.
That's preparing.
That's preparing for the audition. So you have to do like 2 or 3 months, maybe even 4, depending on when you get your packet, of preparation for your audition.
I mean, I guess you don't have to. If you really want to just go in cold.
You don't have to.
You should.
If you're smart.
Yeah.
If you don't want to just walk in there.
If anyone out there is thinking about auditioning, practice.
Practice before.
Yes. Prepare.
I don't care if you're the best drumline person in your area, practice, because you never know. Like, you can be, like I said, the best person in like 2 counties or 2 districts, for school districts or whatever. But it doesn't matter because you're one person, right? Yeah. And there's easy 100 to 200 other people auditioning for that same spot. So you have to be 1 in 100 or 1 in 200 or, I'm just using those. I don't know if those are exact numbers. That's the number I would use because it's probably closer than that. I'm thinking with people that come in for live auditions, they have multiple camps all across their area, and then video auditions, and other people who like know somebody and try to slip in, because it's a thing that happens. But like, so there's all that preparation just for the audition, just to be like, hey, I'm ready to audition now. So the first the first thing to do is like practice, right? And then that's not only practicing music though. Like a lot of people like work out. Oh yeah. Because like
this going back to our point we made in the last episode about band being a physical activity.
100%.
Drum corps is no different. Nope. Even more so.
Especially
the physical aspect, is you do a lot of running. You do a lot of,
I hate running. Like, I don't know, like, I just, like, can't do it with my asthma. Yeah. But, like, when we were at that audition, like, and we'll tell our audition stories a little bit later, because those are definitely interesting.
Worth telling.
But, like, we were running, like doing like our exercises or whatever, and
Uh-huh.
they're like, yeah, run like a mile and a half, and I don't run miles or
Yeah.
a mile or half a mile. I don't run. I don't like
Yeah.
to run unless I'm running for my life. That's the only
You're
time.
running away from something.
Yeah, if there's like a dinosaur that's like about to
Yeah.
eat me, then I'll run.
Then you'll run.
But like,
Then your instincts kick in.
yeah, right. Yeah, that's like your adrenaline and the whole other 9 yards. But like, we were running, and I was like, oh, I can't do it, and just like, you got to keep going, because like that.
And I made the mistake of only bringing Vans. And my feet were killing. I didn't bring any running shoes.
Well, yeah, we'll
we
get
can
into it,
save that.
But
stuff.
Yeah, so like you were saying, like you can go with the physical aspect.
Yeah, I mean, well, especially, not to say that, other sections aren't physically active, because everyone in the Corps is expected to, be held to the same sort of physical standard.
Yeah, you're running 100% of the time.
Yeah, you're running,
like,
you're doing
marching band, like fast marching
push-ups,
band,
sit-ups, like calisthenics type training, because
Yep.
it's a very physical activity. I mean, sometimes you're like running around the field, and in the case of drumline with 30, 40 pound drums strapped onto you,
Yeah.
And you have to be physically able to do that kind of stuff, and also mentally able to do the music stuff.
Music and the discipline.
Yeah.
The discipline, like, and going back to like what we were saying like last episode, it was like the discipline is, if not the same as like a boot camp. It's a little less, you're not like expected to do stuff for other people's lives, but like, the whole like stereotypical like, yelling at you drill instructor for like drill sergeant for like, boot camp, that's not far off.
Yeah.
Like, I remember like when we were at the audition, like we were getting freaking yelled at.
Oh, all the time.
And this was an audition. We wouldn't even make it yet. Like, we were getting freaking yelled at.
But they
like,
gotta.
What are you doing?
They gotta throw you in the deep end,
Yeah.
And see if you sink or swim.
Exactly. But like that mental aspect, like there's, oh my gosh, you have to sit. There in the band world, there's something called set, and what that is you are pretty much standing still for a long moment of time.
The only thing you can do is breathe and blink.
Sometimes,
and
if people are lucky, like breathe or blink. But you're standing up straight, completely straight. Your heels are together, maybe your toes, depending
whatever
on
position your instrument needs to be in.
Yes,
and you're there,
hands too,
in the mindset.
Yep.
Of being
there.
ready,
Yeah,
and being there and being present. Yeah.
But I keep interrupting you.
No, I mean, you're good.
But it's like it's that the mental aspect, like you were saying, is crazy, because you need to be so mentally strong, and that with comes the mental part. It's like the physical part, then it comes the mental part. Like, can you do the physical stuff while being like mentally in the moment? And then that mental part can really tear at your emotional part. It's a thing like where you're just so done, and you've been doing this thing for like 5 days or even 2 days. Like, it's a lot. It's just,
and you just gotta be able to tough through it.
Yeah.
And
it's a mental game. Like, if you can do it mentally, you can do it like emotionally,
and
switch that. If you can do it emotionally, your mental will be a lot better, and then that will make your physical even better.
And then the reward of that, all that work and
payoff.
sort of the payoff is more than worth it.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like, so why don't you like tell them like how you can join, and like, age restrictions.
Yeah. So, well, we can get into, there are, the main thing that we've been talking about is DCI, Drum Corps International. That's sort of the biggest sort of overarching organization, but there other organizations, there's Drum Corps Associates, DCA,
Yeah.
which has less corps, but there's no age limit.
No age cap.
No age cap.
Yeah.
And then within DCI and DCA, there are different classes. DCI, for example, there's world class and then there's open class. And so world class is sort of more made up of older college students, and they're the top 12 groups that you see in finals, and then open class is more sort of younger college to older high school age kids, and I mean, there's if you have the intent of marching, if you want to, there's an organization out there for you.
Yes, 100%. There's even like stuff for like little kids.
Oh yeah,
like, I know that for the Blue Devils, I think they have like a C, right?
Yeah, and B, and C corps.
So A is like top
the world
tier,
class Blue
like,
Devils that you know.
Yes, and then Blue Devils B is like the lower, like for like high school,
sort of feeder.
Yeah,
program.
Their feeder, exactly. And then their C is like for like little kids who are like still really good, but like want to get into the drumline thing at an early age.
And other organizations have stuff like that too. Colts have
it's
Colt
not
cadets,
just,
Vanguard cadets. But about joining. Like if you're interested, just reach out to groups in your area.
Yeah, or even not in your area.
Or not in your area. There's a group out there for you if you're interested.
Yeah.
And just reach out, see when audition materials will come out.
Yeah.
And I mean, just sort of dive in if you're at all interested, because
right. And if you can't find anything, hit us up, because we can help you, like we can help you find some like core near you or something that you can get into that's like it,
that can put you on the path.
Which I'll mention it because this is going to be our next episode. WGI, that's something that I would think goes hand in hand with drum corps, because it's such an involved sport, just same thing, same people, but like you said, we'll reach out to us if you need help, because this isn't just something we want you guys to like listen to. We want to be able to like to spread this, like the whole goal of like us being here and doing this thing is not to just like talk about drums because we like it, but like we also want to help the community, like help the drum community any way we can, like so like reach out to us if you can't find anything, but most likely if you just search like Drum Corps International on your computer,
you can find a map of where they are in relation to you.
I have a great map that I keep in like my bookmarks page. That's just like all of them across the country, and it's so cool, like you said, like even the DCA's on there, and but so
that's sort of, if you want to get started.
You covered like
where to join,
like world class, open class, stuff like that. But so not only is there, auditions and people that need to, fill out those instrument spots, there is so many other people behind the scenes. That like unfortunately don't get a lot of recognition. Like how many staff members would you ballpark?
I don't know.
For a drum corps.
Maybe 30.
30? Yeah. 25, 30.
You got multiple techs for each section, and then you got like the director, and you have like a media team, and you have
choreographer,
other choreographers, drill writers.
The people that build the props. Some corps can hire companies to do so. I know when we were in high school, our parents built the props. And even when I was outside of high school and in WGI, parents build the props. It's crazy. Like how many people go into just one freaking show,
Yeah.
and you don't even see half the people that do stuff. Like, everyone has an input. Like, everyone gives something in drum corps. Doesn't matter.
And it wouldn't be possible without every one of those persons' contributions. So
exactly.
Thank you, people who don't get thanked a lot
Right? Yeah.
in drum corps.
Exactly. You know, like,
we appreciate you.
Exactly. We really do. Like, drum corps and band in general, you know, band parents in general, are a big help. Like, I know that when we had the audition, like, your parents came to like help out with like food, which like, and we're not even in the corps at that point. Like, they were helping out because that's what band people do. Like, band people help other band people. And like, that's the cool thing about it.
That's another thing that we can get into later if we want, about the really strong sense of community within the corps. And that's, you know, just another aspect of it.
The many things.
You know,
So like, to kind of wrap up, you know, the explanation and to talking a little bit into it. But like, drum corps is like an awesome thing to do. Yeah. And you can do it now if you want. Well, not now, unfortunately.
No, not now.
Yes.
Rip the 2020 season.
Yeah. This season has been canceled.
Yeah.
It's got a big fat
as you probably
red X.
It would have been, finals would have been what, last week?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Finals would have been last week.
But, you know, hopefully in the future we will get more drum corps.
Right. But yeah, so like, basically drum corps is a bunch of kids on a bus for, you know, a summer. Yeah. 4 or 5 months of a summer, touring, going around, not 4 or 5 months. That's my bad. Like 4, right? No, 4.
3-4 months.
You know, touring the country, playing different shows, rehearsing all day. You know, sometimes you don't get to bed until what, 1?
And then you have to wake up the next day.
You got to wake up at 7, 8 the next day, and it's just like, do it all over again outside in the sun.
It doesn't sound like a fun thing to do. It's like, we're gonna make you sleep on a gym floor. Yep. Get 3 hours of sleep every night. Have to do rigorous exercise during the day, and then also pay us a lot of money.
Yes.
But, you know, it's much more than that.
Yeah.
And you make lifelong friends, and it's an experience that sticks with you.
Yeah.
You know,
it really is, you know, and that being said, like, oh man, you know, we've wanted to do drum corps forever.
Yeah.
What it seems.
Why don't we get into that?
Yeah.
About our first. You can start if you want.
Experience.
What sort of got us into wanting to run around football fields and bang on stuff.
Yeah. So man, I want to say it was like 2014. This was like my freshman year. We just really started to, you know, go and do band, and like I was in band camp and I did all these other things, but like, you know, it was like, it was probably around like August. This is from my memory. I could be completely wrong. But our band director in high school, he decided to live stream the drum corps show, like the finals, Lucas Oil. And to me, I was like, what? Like,
what is that?
What is drum corps?
Yeah.
And like, and this is why I say this like explanation, and I use it all the time, like the NFL of like marching band, because like that's how someone said it to me. It's like, you know, the NFL of marching band. And I was like, and of course I'm like, oh well, that's weird. I gotta check this out. Like what? Like what? Like it's such a weird thing.
Who does that?
Yeah, right. Like it's such a weird thing. And I was like, all right. So I showed up to like this live stream, like in the band room, and it was just like a bunch of band kids, like after rehearsal or whatever it was. And we were like sitting down like in this room, like dark band room, and like this huge like because we had like a huge like screen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Put it on like this huge freaking screen and this blasted speakers, right? And it was, I don't know if this was the first show to my memory
Mm-hmm.
that like stuck, was Carolina Crown Inferno. And I was like, man. And I just like, I can still remember just like sitting down wherever I was watching it, like with all the band kids. It could have been in the band room, or it could have been at the movie theater. I think it was at the theater.
Mm-hmm.
So scratch everything that I just said.
Yeah. Forget everything.
Yeah, so we were at a theater and they were live streaming it in the theater.
Yeah.
That's why I remember the big screen, is because like it was the movie theater.
Yeah.
So, which that's also a weird thing. Like, who's gonna live stream drum corps into a movie theater?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what? But yeah. So it's like 2015. I'm like sitting there. So this will be sophomore year then, and I'm like, man, this is weird. And I'm watching, and it just like keeps getting better. And I'm like, what? Like, and man, like the show, Carolina Crown, like to this day is my favorite drum corps ever.
Mm-hmm.
I'll always want to join them. I never will, because I'm not good enough. But, they're playing this intro, and it's so unique. Like the intro was so unique, it was just a like solo trumpet player. But then it was like different instruments from across the field were like, it started with like trumpets, and then it went to like, tubas, and it like started like the higher instruments and went all the way down. It was just like da 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 da. Yeah, it was so sick. And then like out of nowhere, it was just like this big like roll, and then this huge hit. Just like shot, and it just, and then I like remember it just like rung. It was like, and then the biggest hit ever. Like the whole band, like the whole corps, everybody was like at one moment. Like it was at that moment, it was like go time, and I was like, blew me back in my seat. I was like, oh my gosh. Like to this day, like if I have my headphones on and listen to that show, like I almost cry, because like it's so good.
It's a lot. Yeah,
it is a lot. Like, drum corps and like the whole experience is like a lot. So, and at that point, as soon as that happened, I was freaking hooked, man. I was like, drum corps. I searched it on YouTube. I looked them all up. I looked at the map. I was like, well, how can I do this or whatever? But at that time, I didn't know. And I was like, talked to my band director. I was like, how do I do this? Like, show me the way. Like, how do I get there? And like, he was like, well, it's like actually really simple, because there's people in our area that you can go to a camp right now and do it. Like you can go to the camp and like try it.
Yeah.
Which at that point it was the Gearworks camp.
Yeah.
Was
the Cavaliers Gearworks.
Which I don't think is a thing anymore.
I don't know.
I don't know if they do that camp anymore.
Yeah.
But two of our buddies went to that camp, and they like freaking loved it, and they came back like super decked out with like
all the t-shirts and
with like the Cavies gear and but like what happened there, but it was just like, at that moment I was just like, I love this thing. Like drum corps was such a foreign thing to me up until that point, and then that was all I could think about. And every time the freaking season rolled around, it was like, oh man, I wonder who's gonna do what.
See all these new drum lines, all these new,
right? Like get super hyped about it and be like, I wonder what Carolina Crown's gonna do this year, because I was still really focused on them, still am. But then like I think it was that same year, Boston Crusaders did the Tesla show. Was it that year? That was 15, right? They had like the giant Tesla coils.
Oh, that was Santa Clara Vanguard.
That was Santa
who did the Tesla
SCV
show.
Who did the Tesla show. And so then it was Boston Crusaders who did like the 4 different like tribe show.
Yeah.
That was sick. And they had these like tribal like drums in the center, I think, and they were like playing them. And I was like, man, like this is so cool. Like I did marching band for a year already, a year and a half already, and there's like the whole like visuals and props and, you know, the guard and all this stuff, and like, what do our forms look like? But like, to see it like be executed at that high caliber,
and like, I feel like it's important, like, you know, every activity should have that level of excellency that you're striving for. You know, for football, it's the NFL. For, you know, Model UN, it's the real UN. And for marching band, it's drum corps. Like, that's what you should be trying to achieve. Exactly. You know, work towards. That's people in their prime. You know.
Yeah, exactly. That's, like you said, people in their prime, or, you know, the outstanding people, like, big name drop, like Brandon Olander.
Oh yeah.
Like, dude was
our age.
Dude is our age.
Yeah.
But he was 14 playing with the best drum corps drum line in the world. Like at 14.
4, 5, 6 time champion. I don't even know.
Yeah, this kid has been with the drum corps since he was 16.
Yeah.
And he stayed with the drum corps up until now. I think he took a year off because of his issues.
Yeah. And then I think he aged out last year.
Just like this year, last year. Yeah. I think he might have been like a year older or our age. I can't remember. But you know, Buddy was like 14 playing with the like crazy, you know, crazy people.
There's videos of him even younger, you know, playing Diddy with the Blue Devils or whatever. Yeah. You know, and it's like, wow.
And he didn't go to a single audition, I don't think, up until that Blue Devils camp.
Oh yeah.
I think he was just like learning from his computer, like on YouTube. Like, he would
off the internet. This kid learned this stuff.
Off the internet.
Scott Johnson, I think, said,
yeah,
off the internet, this kid,
but yeah, like, you know, it's just like to see something like so good, and then like at that point, you know, it was kind of like a blessing, but it was also a curse too, because at that point I was like, all right, we need to get this good, like. It's achievable. It's doable.
Yeah, like, these people are doing it.
Why can't I?
Why can't we do it
in
high school?
In our high school, exactly. Like, you know, and that can be kind of
There's
toxic.
Many reasons why you can't do that.
Yeah,
you know?
one being because most of them are high school kids and not 21 or whatever, and some of them haven't been playing for 900 years. But like, yeah, like, you know, then it was just like, at that point I was like, all right, how can we get more drum corps? Like, can we put more drum corps into the show? Like, hey, I watched, you know, the Cavalier Troopers.
That one. That's my favorite one.
That's the Cavadevil Pioneer Regiment, you know, or so like, you know, well, I watched them do that. Well, why can't we? Like, they won.
Yeah.
Or they got 10th in drum corps, which is a big thing. Well, why can't we do that? Like, why can't we be top 10 drum corps or whatever?
Yeah.
You know, and I didn't know anything up in that until that point. But yeah, like, you know, that's like my history of like drum corps, and like how I really just like fell in love with it. Like, when was your like first time seeing that?
I feel like, well, because when I first got to high school in freshman year, and when I was on the drum line, I was probably way too obsessed with drumline. Like, my life that summer was consumed by me looking at YouTube videos of, best drumline, coolest drumline, you know. And eventually I came across this one video of, I believe it was the Cavaliers drumline. And I was like, oh, these guys are really cool. And it says they're from Illinois, you know, and it was like, Cavaliers, what is that? And then the channel was like DCI. And we're like, whoa, what's that? And so that sort of started my, I don't know, fascination with this super high level of drumming that these guys were putting out. And then that, you know, made me search, maybe I'll do like DCI drumline, see what comes up there, or DCI, you know, best DCI thing. And I found this other video that was like 2014 DCI best moments. And I would watch that video like over and over and over again.
How many times do you think you watched it?
Well, I think the view count is like, I don't know, 600,000 or something like that. I'm probably at least 1,000 of those.
Oh my gosh.
Like, and that, like, that was probably my start because I saw, all those great
Yeah.
2014 shows, Tilt,
Yeah.
the Cavaliers show from that year, the Blue Devils show from that year, the Crown show from that year, the SCV show from like 2014 was such a packed year, and that was the first year they allowed trombones and euphonium.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you had that big Santa Clara Vanguard, that opener with all the trombones, on the platforms facing the front, and it was super loud and it was awesome. But yeah, and then like I would watch that video, in the kitchen pretending to be doing homework, and I would just be like repeating that video over and over again. And yeah, that sort of started my fascination, and then I think we sort of both found and agreed at the same time, like, hey, this is something that's really cool.
Yeah.
And maybe we could, if we try to be like this, maybe we can get better and our high school can get better.
Mm-hmm.
And, and then we found out, hey, our percussion instructor marched for this DCI corps called Blue Devils. Or Blue Stars.
Blue Stars.
Sorry.
Come on.
Blue Stars.
Yeah.
In Wisconsin. We're like, whoa, that's really cool. And we found this, super old video of him that's still up probably. I think it's like 2004 or something.
I think
5.
so. It was, they did an anime show that year.
Yeah.
So if anybody who's like doing drum corps and like a super big nerd about it, like knows years and show titles, which is you, by the way.
Well,
he like, dude, I even said like my favorite show and I still can't remember this freaking year. Like I always get it. I'm so confused.
I don't remember what the show is called, but I do remember it was like an anime show. It was
an anime show. So
and it was just like them in the lot, and they had helmets at that point.
The helmets.
And it was it was funny and awesome, and that spawned me checking out a whole other host of videos, and same as you, what sort of groups are near me? What groups can I root for? Like a sports team.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah. And then 2016, I somehow convinced my parents to take my sister and I to a DCI show at Northern Illinois University. It was like I don't remember the name of the show, but like everyone was there, like Blue Coats, Blue Devils, Cavaliers.
That was a big show.
And we got to see Carolina Crown, all those amazing shows.
Yeah.
That Blue Coats show that ended up winning was awesome, and seeing all of that live and feeling like the brass, and the drums in my gut and in my chest.
I so should have went that with you.
Yeah.
I remember you like coming back.
Yeah.
From that show, and you were just like,
this is awesome.
Dude, you're like, you gotta go.
Yeah.
Like next year we gotta go.
Mm-hmm. And then that next year we went to.
You took me to my first drum corps show.
Yeah.
Which was, where was that at again?
I want to say Benedictine.
Yeah.
It wasn't the NIU one again, because I don't think it was.
No.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
But we saw that in 2017 and all those awesome shows.
Yeah.
And that was just like, I don't know, you can tell your experience of it being your first DCI show.
Yeah, it only made it better though, because like I was like with you and you were like, dude, like let's go here, let's go there, let's go, like let's check out the lot, and like let's watch them warm up, and like then like let's go to the shows. And like, well, we didn't really know too much about the lot at that point, like that the lot was a thing. But like, yeah, you were like, we were just like sitting in the stands and we were just like getting hit.
Yeah, it's awesome.
By like this like sound wall.
It feels like what I would imagine. I'm sure it's nothing like this at all, but it feels like what I would imagine like taking off in a spaceship feels like. You're just being like bombarded with this like
energy force.
Yeah. And it's amazing.
Yeah.
You get goosebumps.
It's like goosebumps. Exactly. Like anytime I hear like certain shows, like it's just like gives me chills. Like how crazy that good these people are.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we went to that show, and then we went to 18's show as well. 17's show though, the cool show was when Cavaliers didn't they do when Men Are From
Men
Mars?
Are From Mars.
And
Yeah.
they had like the spinning quads.
Uh-huh.
I remember that being like,
that was awesome.
Yeah, so like for like people who don't know, like quads are like 4 or 5
4 drums and then either 1 or 2 Spock
or
Spook.
Yeah, Spook.
Higher, like way higher than the rest of the drums.
Yeah.
So
they're like guy who like either like quad guy or like one of their like tech dads or whatever was like, yeah, I invented this thing, and
it's like a stand, but we can spin it.
We can spin them. So they were on a platform in the field.
Yeah.
The platform was rotating.
And the stands.
And the drums were rotating around the stands. So like the whole thing was being turned this way as they like spun the drums this way.
And
so
they were like running around, playing each other's drums, doing all sorts of crazy stuff.
And we were like, oh man, that's so sick. But yeah, and then like that was super cool. And then like in 18, we really like found like the lots.
Yeah.
That's when we were like, all right. Because you and I went to the drum corps show to see a couple of my indoor buddies. Shout out Legends.
Yeah, Legends.
Yeah.
It's another group I forgot to name before, just in Michigan.
Yeah, real close.
Yeah.
Great starter group. They're killing it now.
Oh yeah,
like
consistently finishing top 3
for the last like 2 years
of open class. Yeah.
And like they were killing it. They've got like drum trophies and stuff. And so like we went to go see my buddies Eddie and Sergio. They did the thing there, quads and snare. But yeah, like we went to that show. We watched it there a lot. We're like, oh man, like this lot's freaking sick. Like we gotta check out.
Then we're seeing like other groups coming in. It's like, oh, that's the Academy over there, and that's
yeah, that's
Blue
SCV.
Coats. It's like, oh, that's the Blue Coats truck.
Yeah, and well, plus you can't miss the Blue Coats from that year too. It's just like so much. Well, that wasn't 18. That was 19.
That was the next year. They had the actual Blue Coats,
like crazy Blue Coats.
Yeah,
that was that 19 year. But the 18 was not. I'm forgetting dates.
It's fine. Whatever.
I'm sorry. I'm bad with dates.
No concept of time.
None. How long have I been here? 9 years?
Doesn't matter. I'm old enough for my knees to hurt.
Right? Oh my dude, don't even get me started. Like for the people that are listening on the video, there are so many times where I'm like putting the mic over there and I have to readjust my knee. Well, it's my right knee too. It gets so bad.
Is this going to become a knee pain podcast?
Right, fixing your old bones.
Yeah.
What's up, guys?
Welcome back to the kneecap break podcast. We're gonna break your kneecaps.
Knee break podcast.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. So sorry. Yeah, I have bad timing. My knees are awful. Whatever. But yeah, so sorry, that was 19, but 18 we found out the lots and we were jumping back and forth, and then 19 we really got into the lots and we're like, okay, well, we don't really need to see this core, like let's go watch them.
Let's just go watch a few lots. And
that's
awesome because you get to be, especially if you're a fan of
just like
the drum lines or individual sections, you get to be right there, 10 feet away from,
maybe less.
Yeah. From them warming up, and it's so awesome. It's great.
It really is. It's like a weird thing. Like you pay all this money to go watch the whole core, which totally worth it.
Yeah.
Like even if it's $100, freaking do it because it's worth your time.
Yeah.
But like to be able to like watch them warm up and like interact with each other, I think
and see sort of their process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's also cool because you get to see them like stone cold Steve Austin. Be that's like one of the things, like especially if you have friends in cores.
Oh yeah, we were trying to get like Eddie and them to break.
Yeah, so like that's one of the goals, like if for anybody who's got a friend that does the drumline thing, like if you're not in that group and you go watch them warm up,
try to make them laugh.
Like it's so hard to do. One of my buddies, he was telling me like he sat there sorry, he didn't tell me. We did it.
Mm-hmm.
He freaking sat there and he was like eating Oreo thins, mint Oreo thins.
Oh my god.
And he just stared at one guy the whole time and just ate Oreo thins, like right in the front.
Super slowly.
Yeah, but you know, like the bag's really crinkly,
Yeah,
so it's like and he's like he's sitting there, and like of course the guy, his buddy, ticked,
great.
and it's like what are you doing? Like, stop eating the Oreos. Like, but like that's like a big thing, is like just to like have fun and like, you know, do all that kind of stuff. But that's like a really hard thing to do, though. You know, we talked about like people ticking and stuff and breaking, but like the whole goal is like that, going back to that mental thing, like the whole goal is to pretend like nobody's around you.
Yeah.
It's just you. It's just the line. It's just
your
the tech.
drum.
Like, it's just your drum. Yeah, like focus on what you're doing. Nobody else matters.
Yeah.
That's why they have like the 1,000-yard stare or whatever it is, like that they've coined from, you know, the military. But it's like, you know, just like, it's crazy though. Like those lots are ridiculous. Like, you know, and they also play stuff that like is not in the show.
Oh yeah, like they're different warm up books
and a lot of that warm up stuff can get really jammy.
Oh yeah,
like they can have
a lot of
fun
groups
with
try
it.
to make it jammy because you know, they know what the lot scene sort of is, and they're trying to like, oh, we gotta
spice it up,
impress all these folks.
Yeah,
you know.
So a corps that's notorious for that is the Blue Coats. They have something called Flam Jam.
Oh yeah,
and I am obsessed a little bit with Flam Jam. That's
so I think it's one of the most like viewed drum corps drumline videos
and that
ever.
was Tilt, right? Was that not that year? With the fire drums. What year was that? Because that was that year, right?
I think the famous Flam Jam video was 2015, which was a year after.
Let me look it up.
Yeah,
I have it saved on my YouTube.
Yeah.
Because I'm that much of a nerd when it comes to you know, doing the drumline thing. But yeah, literally, I type in F on my YouTube
Flam
thing,
Jam comes
and
up.
Flam Jam is the first thing that comes up.
It's great. So to explain it,
2015,
it's basically the percussion, you know, coordinator guy. He's sitting in front of the battery with a drum set. And he just lays down this fat beat,
playing the nastiest of backbeats.
Yeah. And everyone's just sort of away from their drums, like sort of, you know, doing their own personal warm ups.
Yeah. Stretching hands.
And then
stuff like that.
Whenever he's ready, the center snare comes in and starts soloing over like a triplet, like form.
Yeah.
Do you
want to play a little bit of it?
Sure.
So
I mean, I don't think it's
example.
copyrighted.
I don't think so either. It's on Drum Corps Tube, so
yeah.
I'll put the volume down here. So yeah, it's like we said. It's like let's hope this works.
Yeah.
Sorry if it's like uber loud or not loud at all.
Oh yeah.
So like two guys are hugging in the background, others are playing,
just doing whatever. And then center snare comes in. Then two more on either side.
And then another two. Another two.
And they're all soloing and staying within
Another
this
two.
triplet grid. And after the solo, they just go to playing, 3-inch triplets.
And then
quads.
Quads will come in. So I'll try to fast forward a bit.
Wow.
And then bass come in as a section.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, it's like that
super jammy, super crowd pleasing.
Oh, for sure. It's like the triplet feel to that like nasty backbeat.
Yeah.
It's something that like, oh man, I will always love.
Great.
And like anytime I get a chance to like warm up or practice myself, that's what I play. Like headphones, Flam Jam. Well, not even F, and then Flam Jam, that first video. But yeah, so like it's crazy. Like, you know, people do different things and they just make it funky, and some of them are like Latin based, some of them are funk based,
some are just like super, you know, stoic, like awesome, choppy, and
then others like don't do that. Some people are just like play eights, and for people that don't know what eights is, it's like 8 notes on a hand, and then you do 16 and then 8
depending
16.
on what version, you know.
Stanford eights is that. But yeah, so it's like
it's awesome to see the diversity and how, you know, all the different groups approach getting ready for their show. Yeah,
because it's not just like when you go to the show, it's not just like Ramajam, let's go, because everybody could do Ramajam, let's go. Yeah. But it's like, can you make it funky? Can you make something cool? Like, can you make it cool, be relaxed, have fun? Yeah. But at the same time, like,
make it clean.
Yeah. Like, exactly. But that, like, it's like the cool part about like the whole like lot scene,
the experience of being at a drum corps show, all these different elements, you know. Yeah. So, like, getting to that and getting to like the different groups, like, what are like, who are your favorites? Like, what different groups that are like, are you like, hey man, like I really want to like, you know, be in that group? Well, I said this last episode. If I could march anywhere on a drum line, it'd be SCV, Santa Clara Vanguard in California. They have probably the beefiest drum line, probably ever. They've, you know, been winning percussion trophies forever. Yeah,
it literally seems like forever.
And they also, you know, they're known for having the sort of classic wall of sound. Yeah. You know, and it's just, I don't know, their shows always sort of speak to me. It's all their stuff is very musical. They have a nice sort of balance between modern sensibilities and the more, you know, sort of classical military approach. And it's great. I don't know. I love them. It's awesome. I also have a soft spot for, you know, Phantom and Cavies. Yeah. Hometown heroes.
Hometown heroes. But yeah. So besides like SCV, like what other like bands in general, like do you like someone's like visual aspect a little bit more, or like horns or?
Well, I'm a big fan of the Blue Coats' sort of approach to designing a show.
I would agree 100% with you.
Yeah. It's all of their shows are just so like creative and inspired. Especially, and they always seem to be sort of on the front of, you know, of change, like on the side of change. Yeah. That 2014 show Tilt was a really big change in the community because, well, first of all, Tilt was their theme, so they had like a big orange tarp that outlined the field, but they tilted it. And all of their like marching forms were like dressed to the new tilted field. Yeah, which was like crazy to think about. Yeah.
That must have been like a ridiculous way.
Oh yeah, all the diags and, you know,
what a nightmare. Yeah. Dude. Like the spacing must have been a nightmare.
And then that show also has probably one of the coolest moments in any DCI show ever. It was one of the first shows to heavily feature sort of electronics. And then there's this moment in the closer where if you imagine, like, you know, the THX like logo thing in all those old movies where it's like, so in the closer, like they get done holding a big note and everyone's like, oh, it's a closer. It's over. Like that's the last one. I'm getting ready to go clap. But then they play this clip that like reverses the audio. Yeah. And then brings it back up like the THX thing. And then they come back for another hit. and it's like, I'm getting chills talking about it. It's so great.
Yeah, and then they do it a second time.
Yeah,
they do it twice.
And then they just like finish out their closer. It's awesome. And this guy like runs up a ramp and jumps into a bunch of people. It's
yeah.
But yeah, like that show, like their 2016 show, which I think single-handedly changed the course of what modern drum corps.
It's the slides, correct?
Yeah, downside up.
Yeah.
It was like so jazzy and so like sort of a lot of music that isn't usually found in that. They played Great Gig in the Sky by Pink Floyd for their ballad, which I love ballads. Ballads are usually my favorite part of the show, which is weird for like a drum guy.
Yeah.
But it's
when it comes
awesome.
to like full shows. Yeah.
It was so groovy, so jazzy. And they, because they're slow, they're slow. Their show was about slides. They couldn't be wearing like normal, clunky marching band uniforms.
Yeah.
So they wore like, sort of, I don't know what to call them.
Say the word.
Spandex?
Yeah.
Pajamas.
Pajamas.
Is what,
that's what we call them.
So, and after that show, they won that year. And I think that's their first championship.
Really?
If I'm not, or at least first in a while.
Yeah,
and
I think it was like first in a while.
That show was like so popular and so awesome. It sort of like changed, the approach to uniforms and show design for a bunch of other corps.
Everybody.
Now, like
not even just corps.
Yeah.
Marching bands too, high school marching bands,
a bunch of liberties, more creative liberties with what their uniform looks like, what the show can be about, what music they can use, and we have opinions on, wearing pajamas marching on the field, but it's, I think all in all, it's a good thing to sort of be in this experimental stage of drum corps that I think the Bluecoats have ushered in.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that.
What about you?
Yeah, you already know it's the only corps I barely ever talk about. It's Carolina Crown. I love them for everything. To me, they check all the boxes. What a drum corps should be. They have moments where they ram a jam, where it's just crazy notes all the time, and then they have moments that are so quiet you can hear a pin drop.
Yeah,
and it's just they're like, to me, I'm not here's a weird thing to say from like a drum guy. Like I'm not too crazy on like, you don't, like, honestly, for me, you don't have to be the best drum line in the world. Like, Carolina Crown's drum line isn't the best drum line. I think they are, because I love them and because I think they do different things so well. But like, it's the whole band for me, man. Like it's got to be like, the whole thing has to tie in, and Carolina Crown does that so effortlessly.
Oh yeah.
They can flip the switch and, be this crazy band, and just and keep doing the thing. And like, that's, I don't know, man, like their horn line.
I feel like Carolina Crown is also probably one of the most fun corps to watch and listen to.
Yes.
A lot of times, like, you can get bogged down with, a super complex theme or, music that, is good, but maybe not too accessible to people. But Crown, like, always delivers with the, crowd pleasing moments and like over the top opener hits that are
crazy,
awesome,
like
and
weird visual things.
Yeah.
Plus, they're the only ones to do like the weird Shako ideas. For people that don't know, parts of the uniform, the hat is called.
It's not a hat.
It's not a hat. It's called the Shako, and they do a weird thing where they like don't have a top.
Yeah,
and they just like,
it looks like a piece of paper that's just been sort of wrapped around their head.
Yeah, kind of
with like a plume sticking out.
Yeah,
and it's cool.
They don't even like they don't do
sometimes.
Like plumes.
It's different.
Their plume is like they have like
the top.
Yeah, I can't even explain it.
Top corner of the paper that's been wrapped around. Yeah,
it's like a horn.
The horn.
But yeah, no, it's they just do it different, man. And like, to me, like, everybody can do the same thing, and I think it's great. And I'll never get tired of watching the drum corps do the drum corps thing. But like you said, like, they're just so fun to watch, and they're just like, it's they do the little things and their horn line is
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Consistently winning brass.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
All the time.
All the freaking time. And they're just a powerhouse, man. But as far as like other show people, show designs and stuff like that, I'm right there with you with Blue Coats.
Yeah.
They change the game consistently, and it's something that, they'll never stop doing.
Yeah.
I love the Cavaliers because it's such like the roots are so deep, I think.
Yeah.
And it's such a like a, I don't want to say brotherhood, but like it's such a
community,
yeah,
like a camaraderie.
Yeah, it's like it's a community. It's like it's a different thing, and each drum corps is like that. But
yeah,
I don't know what it is. It's just like, to me, the Cavaliers just like they got the thing
because there's all that history with it.
Yeah, the history of it being like an all male corps, and all that kind of stuff, and yeah, like you said, like the history is definitely there. But so like, we're doing this thing and we're talking about it. I've auditioned at 2 different drum corps. You've done one, unless you haven't told me about another one.
Well, actually, no, I'm kidding.
Actually, I auditioned for SCV and I got in.
I had to decline.
I said no because I didn't want to, which you would never do.
No,
you would be like, all right, dude, peace out. I'm going to drum
leaving.
for a summer.
I'm going to California.
Like, see you later. But yeah, no. That was like, this audition was so scary to me.
The Colts one?
No, my first one.
Phantom one.
My Phantom audition. Like, that was like my first real audition for something outside of, high school. And, I just like, I remember driving there, and like halfway through the drive, I was like, what am I doing? Like,
yeah.
I bought the packet, and this is one of those things, like, I didn't really practice the packet that much. Probably more than I should have, because I didn't know. Like,
yeah. Well, you didn't know how much you would need to prepare,
Yeah, it was.
It was your first experience.
Yeah, it was so new to me, and like I didn't know. So I did what I was kind of used to in high school.
Yeah.
And I think, when did I audition for them? That would have been 18, or that would have been 17.
Yeah.
17, right? No, it was.
Was it the year before
18.
our Colts audition?
Yeah.
Then it would have been 18.
It was 18's show. It was 2017 for 18's show.
Yeah, like the winter of.
Yeah. So, yeah, the winter of 17, I like auditioned, and I got the packet, and I only started reading music when I got to high school. So I was like, I don't really know what some of this means.
Yeah.
So like, I had you help me on a fair amount of it, I would think. But I really just like didn't understand a lot of it. But I mean, I worked my ass off for what I thought I needed to work for.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how crazy it is, and for people that make drum corps like the first time, like, applaud awesome. You all the time. Like, it's ridiculous. It's a hard thing to practice for, because like you literally don't know what to practice for.
Yeah.
Because I could have played everything perfectly, but then they're gonna be like, oh no, we're not gonna even use the packet. But yeah, so doing that audition, right? Nobody else came with me. Like, it was just me.
Yeah, I wasn't there with you.
Yeah, like, I don't know, like, I don't even know how I like did it, like, or like why I did it. But I was just like, one day I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna do it. And I was sitting at my table, and I had to fill up like 9 trillion forms.
Oh yeah. All the health forms, dude. All the consent things.
Yeah, so many forms. And we didn't march a single day. We didn't march. We did no.
It was a weekend camp?
It was a weekend camp, and we did not march.
Wow. Which
was so weird. It was like just a music camp.
Yeah.
So I was auditioning for bass. I went in there playing 5, wanting to play 5, because I had just started playing 5 for indoor, and I was like, okay, well, this is kind of how I kind of know this, but
what I'm doing.
Yeah, I kind of know what I'm doing. You know, I've been doing indoor for a while now, you know, but so I started doing that, and dude, it was another game. There was this, I remember, like, this huge dude, like, big. And I was like, oh, this guy's going to play bass 5.
Yeah.
Like, he's got the hands.
What's
like,
little old me going to do?
Right. You know, but at that point, like, you know, that was like in the audition, but like even before then, like it was super late, like in Rockford, Illinois. Like I'd never been there. Like it was just in this like school, like some random school in Rockford. And they're like, all right. And it's like 10:30, 11 o'clock. I had just driven like 2 hours, an hour or whatever, an hour, like with stops.
Yeah.
You know, to get food. But I was like, dude, I'm so freaking tired. Because I'm in my head all day before the drive. I'm like making sure I have everything for the weekend, and I'm like, I'm all in it. And like I get there and I have all my crap out in the hallway, and I made a mistake. I was on time. I made a mistake, and I was early on time.
Yeah.
But they're like, yeah, you know, people show up at all times of the night. You know, we don't have like a specific time. And I'm like, what? And they're like, yeah, well, you know, so there's like me and like 2 other people or 3 other people.
So you were on time, but you were early.
Yeah, I was early, but on time. Yeah. So like people started to trickle in, and I'm like, and this is probably be surprising to you, but like I was such a like introvert, and like I didn't talk to anybody, and I just sat there like on my phone. I was like texting you and like texting my girlfriend. I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm doing this thing, like I'm so freaking scared right now, like help me.
Send help.
Yeah, send help.
Mom, can you come pick me up?
Yep. Can you come pick me up, Mom?
Yeah. They're playing triplet diddles.
Right. But no, I mean, I like sat down, and you can tell who's been in the corps and who hasn't been, or who's been in drum corps.
There's like an aura,
you know. But I remember these 2 guys that came in, and we were just like, you know, he had like dropped a quarter or something, so I had picked it up and I had like bounced it to him, and like at that point we were friends.
Nice.
Like it was like 4 of us. We were just like goofing around.
Oh yeah, because you were still like the first ones there.
Yeah. So it was this real short kid, super tall. Like, and there was like real short kid. There was a super tall guy, and then another dude, who was just like kind of my height. But they all like marched other places. And if you don't know, like the drum corps necklace is something you get like charm, or like a certain thing that each corps has,
something to like commemorate, you know, the season.
Yeah, and it's like a rite of passage kind of. So this little short kid came in with like, and when I mean kid, he was like 21 or whatever. He was aging out. Came in with rings just all on his necklace, dude. He had so much crap. And I was like, oh my God, like that guy. I was like, oh man, that guy's done a lot of drum stuff. Like I'm
like talking to a celebrity right now.
Yeah, right. Like, and then the other guy was like, yeah, I marched a couple places. Like I really just teach, but you know, I wanted to march Phantom, and it's like my dream corps. Like, it's the only audition I've ever done. So, you know, we had met these guys, and we were talking and testing the waters, and we were like, okay, well, you know, we were kind of hanging out. So then we kind of like started joking around with each other, and, you know, oh, come on, man, hurry up. Like, we got to do this thing. And so they were like, yeah, it was like I said, it was like 11 o'clock at night. And they're like, oh, get all of the drums out of the truck, like now.
Nice.
And I'm like, they're not already off the truck. And they're like, no, get them all
off. You guys
off.
got to do that.
Yeah. So it's like freezing cold out. And these drums have been sitting in the truck for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And which... that's a bad idea to me, but whatever. It's core. They can replace them. So we were pulling these freezing cold drums out and these freezing cold hardware. And we were just like, everyone's like, hurry up, get in, you know, get inside, like put the drums down, like don't burn your hands, like make sure you're warm. Like, I mean, cause the metal was freezing cold. Yeah. So, you know, we were like doing the whole thing, and it was like super late, and they're like, okay, well, we're gonna do a little bit of drumming now. I'm like, after we just pulled the drums out, now we're gonna drum. And they're like, yeah, only for like an hour though, until like 12 or whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm drumming till like 12, which is like ridiculous to me because that's like the latest. Well, scratch that. That's not the latest I've stayed up, but at that point it was to like drum and do stuff. So I had to finally, after everything, like go to bed, but there's like an hour of setting stuff up. So like lights out weren't till like 1.
Yeah.
And then that next morning we got up at like 8 or whatever. And it's not like a nice, beep, beep, beep alarm, time to get up. It's like
they're playing music.
That or this one of the freaking guard chicks comes in and she just like bing flicks the lights on, all of them in the gym.
Yeah.
And it's just like burning your eyes. And she's like yelling, all right, Phantom, time to get up, da-da-da-da-da-da. And she's screaming. She's like, it's 8:30, time to get up, 8:30, like it's time for another drum corps audition, first day audition or whatever. And then when she said that, I was like, oh, okay, so this whole time I've been here, I haven't even been on. Yeah,
no one was paying attention to you.
Right? So it's like, that was first day. And dude, we dram. Because I think that's like past tense. We were drumming. We dram for like hours, dude. All day was drumming. All day. And it was like such like an overload for me. I was like, well, what is going on? So then we finally all got together and like we were drumming some more together, and then we separated again, and then went, and the whole time they're feeding us while we're there, cereal, whatever.
Meals.
I had a lot of cereal because unfortunately like the drum corps thing is like peanut butter and jelly, and I will die if
no peanuts.
Yeah, so I'm like, oh, I'll just have this cereal and banana, thanks. Which was fine. It was all dandy. I didn't really care, but it was just crazy. Like it was 2 days, Saturday and Sunday, Friday night, Saturday and Sunday, back to back, drumming all day, like, and you're just like trying to be the best one there. So they pull you out in the hallway during like probably like an hour and a half before it's like over, and like you go to bed. And then I don't know if I left that night or no, I think, you slept over that night. And he pulls me out in the hallway, dude. And like at first split second, I was like, I might get a call back.
Yeah.
I was like, I think I did okay. I might get a call back. And he's like, oh, man, he's like, he's like, he didn't really know the packet that well. And he's like, your hands are okay. You can play stuff when you were there. He's like, you just didn't know the music so well. And dude, that was like, ever since then, I've like been so pissed off at myself. Cause like, it's like, if I think like, well, it was only my first audition, so technically I didn't really know what was going on.
And you're auditioning for a top 12, like Phantom's up there.
Phantom's up there, yeah. I didn't start low, but like, so did that, and then it was just like, and then they were like, no, sorry, and I was like, great. So I had to sit there for the rest of the day, like the last like 3 hours or whatever it was in the afternoon. I was like, dude, I didn't make it. Why am I still here? I should just go home now.
Yeah.
And then I started thinking, I was like, well, it's good exposure. Like, this is something that I've never done before.
It's first one.
It's my first one doing it. Like, I haven't been drumming for very long. Like, whatever. So yeah, that was our
first audition.
My first like crazy audition. Yeah. And then our second audition, I'll let you explain that because I've been talking for a while.
Well,
I need some H right now.
Oh yeah.
So we're sponsored
by
H. The H
of H2O.
And H2O, yeah.
The H2, I guess.
Yeah.
Because there's two of them.
There's two of them. Two of them.
Thanks, H. So yeah, that next year.
Yeah.
It was kind of sort of a last minute thing. It wasn't like we didn't have the music for very long or anything. We were just sort of, it just came up, I guess, in conversation that summer, and we were like, we should audition somewhere together. And we were looking around, researching, and I had like a very busy schedule with school that year, so a few groups that we wanted to go audition for, we couldn't really.
Yeah, we were both busy, had our own things going.
Yeah.
Because you weren't. Were you teaching at GBS at that point?
I was. That was
okay.
yeah. So we were both teaching.
Yeah,
we were in school working.
Yeah,
everything. So it was tough to find a date where we were both able to do it.
Yeah.
And then we settled on Colts in Dubuque, Iowa. It's not too far from here.
No.
What, you just laughing about the drive? It was like 4 hours.
Yeah.
It was a fun drive.
It was a fun drive,
but
it
awesome.
was also 4 hours long.
Yeah.
And at the end of that 4 hours, I was like, I'm done.
Oh yeah, I want to go to bed, but nope, we had to wait in lines and sign papers. And
didn't we drum that night too?
I think so. I think there was full battery that night.
I don't know why they do that.
I don't know. Anyways, so we did that, decided we went to like their second winter camp, which was probably our first mistake.
Yeah.
Because some of the kids there had already either been contracted or
Had
been
a
called back from the first camp. But regardless, we went in, we drove 4 hours, and we were like, Colts, we like them. Like, they seem like a good fit for what we're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Let's try and see if we could do the thing. So, we went there, got there, like, I don't know what time, maybe 9, 10-ish.
Yeah, 9 or 10. Yeah.
And then
it
was in, like, this arena.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was, yeah, I don't remember what it was called. It was, like, right in the middle of Dubuque. It was, like, this big arena, multi-purpose sort of venue. And, yeah, we slept in the gym. Well, we got there, signed the papers, did full battery. And
we had like a late snack or whatever.
Yeah, late night snack.
Yeah.
And then went to bed and got up the next morning and started doing the actual thing.
Yeah.
So I was auditioning for quads.
Yep, and I was auditioning for snare.
And that morning, as tough as it was, we went our separate ways.
Yeah.
Because
that was sad.
Pretty much that whole day, that whole second day was subs.
Yeah. Subs
meaning quads, go rehearse with the quads, snares, go rehearse with the snares,
bass with bass, so on and so forth.
Brass, there was brass at that camp too.
Yep.
So all the brass and pit, it was, I think, everyone but guard.
Yeah.
And they would go off and do all their separate things.
Yep.
And it was like this like super nice arena like venue, so there are different rooms like
all over the place,
like named rooms for I don't remember what my room was called, but
the snares were in this like grandiose theater.
Yeah.
Where we had
the main theater where we had full battery.
It was beautiful. It was like all hand,
super old.
Yeah, like all hand carved like
stuff. The kind of thing you would see in like a Chicago Broadway type theater.
But continue, and then I'll tell about the bass.
Yeah. So we went up to our room. There were maybe, I don't know, like 12 of us auditioning for quads, which worked out because they had 4 quads, and so we would each like rotate in groups of 3.
Yeah, like A team, B team, and a C team, right?
And actually it was funny because I don't remember, maybe it was like Daniel. Like there were 4 dudes that were all named Daniel.
Yeah, or Eric or something like that. Yeah.
And it was like a big meme. It was so funny.
Yeah.
And our tech like made fun, or maybe didn't make fun, but so they were like Team Eric or Team Daniel or whatever, and then one of us was Team Innovative, and one of us was Team Remo, and we played through the packet and some other stuff. We did stuff that wasn't in the packet, where the tech was just like, all right, let's see if you guys can try, doing this like upstroke versus downstroke, sort of exercise with like a single stroke roll and a double stroke roll, and it was like, that's not in the packet, but we did it and it was cool. And it being my sort of first experience with that level of drumming outside of high school, it was like crazy, like almost culture shock, but not really, but
especially like in quad land.
Oh
like,
yeah,
that was
like it was crazy, and there were some guys who were like totally awesome and way better than me,
killing it. There always is.
But I mean, we got like some show music that we were like, all of us, as soon as we got the show music, everyone was like stayed up that whole night, like reading it and was like, oh, we got to get this good. And we never ended up playing any of it. But, and I don't even know if that show is going to be a show anymore.
Yeah, I know.
Probably shouldn't say anything in case it is.
No, we won't give any like details about it,
but yeah, I mean, it was really fun. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah. It made it better that like you were there.
Yeah.
Especially for me, like, because I remember doing it by myself, and like I love drumming, and I love to do it regardless. But like, if you can do it with me in like the same group or like the same, even the same section, like, the closer I can like hang out with you when we drum, the better. Like,
it definitely made me feel better, that being my first thing, to have someone there to be like, oh, it's cool if you suck, whatever. It's okay.
Yeah, well, you didn't suck though, like.
Well, I mean,
you didn't suck at all, but no, I tried really hard to just like provide as much information about auditioning and about the process and like as I could,
because
how
also
to act
keep in mind,
like that.
So that first day was filled of like all drumming, pretty much. And the second day was sort of half and half between drumming and Vij.
Yeah.
Which, this being 2019, I hadn't actually marched with a drum on for
like a year
like 2 years.
2 years, year and a half, yeah.
And it was crazy. It was bad.
Yeah.
I was dying, but I just like kept my head up high. I powered through it. And I remember, like, on my score sheet, I got, like, a super low score for Vij, but I think it was, like, my tech who was writing it, who was like, amazing effort, and then, like, something bad about my technique. It's like, effort, I did it, which, I mean, that's very important, is effort, as long as you're there and like showing them that you want to be there.
Exactly. There for the right reasons.
That gets you points, for sure. But yeah, like, you can talk a little bit about your journey.
I'll make it quick because it wasn't something too crazy. So at that point I hadn't played snare like competitively for like 2 or 3 years, 2 years. And it was just like, it was a culture shock. I was hanging with them, but not enough to where
there were so many kids auditioning for snare.
There always is, dude. Yeah. Because there's like 9 or 10 snare spots, and so each spot's gonna have like 2 or 3 kids, and that's a lot of freaking kids, man.
Did you guys have like 3 lineups who would play drums, and then like, I don't know, 10 or 15 other kids who were like on pads?
Yeah, so we had everybody was on a drum at one point. So we had like 3 different lineups, and then it was like the Remo line, Innovate line, and then the Pearl line or whatever they march. And it was like, oh man, it was like crazy, and we had so many freaking people audition, like, and then there were so many good people too.
Oh yeah.
And
probably a lot of vets. I don't know if there were any quad vets, but I think there were at least,
1 or 2 snare vets.
Some snare vets, yeah.
But like, it was a lot, like, and I got put on the last team, for the rotation. And at that point I knew I was going to get cut from Snareland. So I had told them previous, I was like, hey, like, I also play bass, because at that point I've been playing bass for like 2 or 3 years.
For indoor.
Yeah, at indoor. And I was like super good. But you convinced me to march snare, because you were like,
or at least try.
Try. So I was like, oh, whatever. So I was like, hey, can I go to the bass room or whatever that is and hang out with them? So, and I had not practiced any of the bass music.
Oh yeah, you were preparing for snare.
I was preparing for snare. I didn't even focus on bass. And like dude, I sight read the whole bass packet, like the whole thing that they gave us, like auditioning for bass 4, and I don't know, man, like I thought the tech loved me, like he was like having so much fun with me, and he was like, you know, hanging out, and he was like really liking what I was doing, and I just like showed up and I killed it. I thought I killed it. Yeah, it definitely made the audition experience better though, with like you being there.
Oh yeah,
because I had somebody to like actually freaking talk to at night. Because like when I was done with rehearsal,
sort of debrief with and like let out some emotions.
Yeah, but you know, like
to help tape your air mattress.
Oh my god, yeah. The second night we're there, Saturday to Sunday, my freaking air mattress gets a hole in it.
Yeah.
So
and of course, like, well, your air pump was like this small sort of thing that would take maybe
forever
to blow up, and mine was like this super high powered one, but it needed an outlet. Yeah. And of course, all of the outlets were taken by people's phones, and you don't want to ask like, "Hey, could you unplug your phone
so I can pull up my?"
So mattress? We had to like walk in behind like the locker rooms or something.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there with like his air mattress up like this, and he's taping the hole, and we're like blocking people's ways as they're getting out of the shower.
Yeah. We're like, "Oh, sorry. Like, we got a hole in my air mattress." So dude, that 2 nights that we slept from Saturday to Sunday, and then like, or no, it popped that night.
Friday
night.
Yeah.
It popped Friday night, and I was like slowly sinking the whole night.
Yeah.
When I woke up, I was like in this like,
because you have like a double.
Yeah, it's like,
and
really
I have a single. So when we were asleep, you're like a little bit, maybe a foot or so above me, but when we woke up, you were like
below you
on the floor.
I was on the floor.
It was funny.
Well, dude, like because my pillow is like so big, and it's like the memory foam or whatever. So my head was pushing the pillow, you know, all the air to my feet. So I was literally sleeping like this, like my feet were in the air. It was so bad.
Oh, great.
But yeah.
I didn't bring a pillow. I used my my suitcase as a pillow.
Made that mistake. Yeah, dude, like I was like,
I made a lot of mistakes. I only wore Vans. The only pants I brought were shorts.
I sent you the list.
And pajama pants, which were fine. I don't know. I felt, because everyone had those, like, you know, the track pants or whatever.
The Adidas.
I felt unique with my flannel and Vans vibe.
But you know. So like it was just like a crazy like audition, and like the whole experience was absolutely nuts. But
all the people were super awesome and nice, and the vets were super nice to us, and
there really wasn't any like BS, you know. Sometimes like when newbies come in to audition or whatever, there can be a lot of BS and a lot of, you know, oh well, you're new, so get in line, kid.
But no, everyone was super welcoming. Yeah, so great.
Even at Phantom too. I didn't even say that. You know, everybody was super. The techs were awesome and super cool.
My tech was great. He was awesome. Super chill guy.
The bass guy was a whole nother dude. His voice is like still in my head. Yeah. But
that was my first, his second audition experience, and you know, loved every second of it, even when we were getting our butts whooped by a blue coat. Yeah. You know. Yeah. One of the snare techs,
the guy that
was
played the tilt or the
downside up
show.
He was on the snare line. The main percussion coordinator. He was great. He was hard on us, but he was great.
Yeah, well, both of those guys, I think his name was like Alex or something. They really kicked my ass and held me accountable. I remember, and you remember too, in full ensemble, like, because I was on the A team for bass, and I was up like all the time, and I was always playing 4. And oh my gosh, dude, anytime I would tick even like a hair, not even the bass tech, the main battery guy would be like, point to me and be like, you ticked, like you messed up. I'm like, okay, I'm sorry. And like, I wasn't used to that. I wasn't used to that part.
But I mean,
so yeah, that's drum corps in a whole.
Yeah. Our experience, you know, the experience of others.
Yeah.
You know.
So, you know, if if you guys want to reach out to other people that you might know who've done drum corps, I'm sure they got some great stories.
If any of you listening have marched anywhere, let us know. Give us some stories. We'd love to hear.
Yeah, exactly. We'd love to hear some cool stories.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's all we have for today's episode. Thank you so much for everybody who's listening and hopefully watching. Let's hope our video doesn't corrupt again.
Doesn't mess up.
But yeah, so like I said before, you can find us at a couple places. Apple Podcasts. You can find us on SoundCloud. You can find us on YouTube and also on Podbean. Those are three of those are audio, and obviously the YouTube will be the added video. So that being said, social media, the Drum Break Podcast, that's everywhere. If you
Instagram, Facebook.
Yep. Instagram, Facebook. And no, we don't have a Snapchat. I'm not making one because I'm not going to be Snapchatting everybody.
No. Sorry.
So go give us our stuff a like and a follow, and let us know if you guys like this episode, and also maybe some ideas.
Yeah, we love some suggestions,
Yeah.
If you have any sort of interesting percussion experience that you'd want to have us talk about, or even come on the show and talk about, we'd be more than happy to
have you.
Yeah.
And for anybody who doesn't march or doesn't do band or anything, if you have questions like you want to add, like maybe like next episode or 2 episodes from now or whenever, like send in some questions.
Yeah, we could do a Q&A.
Yeah, like
somewhere down the line.
Yep. Shoot us an email. It's the drumbreakpodcast@gmail.com. Shoot us an email with your question or even comments or whatever.
Yeah.
But so
this has been the Drum Break Podcast. Hope you have an awesome rest of your day. Peace out.
Peace.